Are you a person with small hands and also loves ergo mice, but you just can't seem to find the right mouse for you since the whole small ergo market is super small? Well, say hello to the Xlite Mini V2. Before I start, I want to say this mouse was sent out by Pulsar, and I want to give them a huge thanks for giving me the opportunity to review this. Even though this was sent out for review, this won't affect anything you hear or see in this video. So, let's get started. Just to get the specs of the mouse out of the way first, the sensor in this mouse is the 3370 and the main clicks are going to be Huano blue shell pink dots, and the overall estimated battery life that they list on their website is 70 hours, but I'll get into that later on, and the weight of the Xlite Mini is 55 grams. As for the quality of the mouse, it is built like a tank, pretty much no flex or really any creaking to the sides whatsoever. The main clicks, like I said, are Huano blue shell pink dots, and they're very well implemented. I did think these were Kale 8.0s at first, but to my surprise, these are the new updated switches. The new color additions have the updated switches, so that's nice to see. The scroll wheel is actually super nice, lightweight, and the actual mouse middle click is also super lightweight. Just the overall great scroll wheel. It is a bit low to my preference, especially if you look at it from this side, but that's just nitpicking at this point. The side buttons I'm not a huge fan of. They do feel alright, but these aren't true mechanical switches inside. These are using some kind of rubber dome micro switch, so they are a bit mushy and soft. So if you're looking for a tactile mouse click on the sides, you're not going to be finding that in this mouse. Here's just a little sound test of how all the buttons on this mouse actually sound. So the shape of this mouse does come really close to another mouse, and that's going to be the Zowie EC3C. This is the wired version, as you can see. There is also a wireless version of this mouse, but I think for the price that you are paying for the wireless version, I 100% recommend this over it, since the shapes are super close and this is a relatively budget mouse when compared to the wireless version of this mouse. As you can see in front of you on the graph, the Xlite Mini is going to be slightly thinner and the hump is not going to come up as high as the EC3. And in hand, this mouse does feel slimmer and of course lighter weight, as the EC3 is a relatively heavy mouse. This is 70 grams and the Xlite Mini V2 is 55 grams. So it's a huge difference, and I think for the price that you're paying for any of the Zowie EC3 mice, I just think it's a better buy to just pick up this mouse. So this is the mini version of the Xlite. So this is going to be best suited for small to medium hands that mostly claw grip. For fingertip grip, it is possible, but for me, I found it that it is not the most comfortable. Mostly because if you do fingertip grip it, your thumb is probably going to be sitting on the side flare right here, which in the long run is not going to be the best experience. But for claw grip, it's a absolute joy to use. As you can see, all my fingers are lining up in the correct position, and it's not uncomfortable or anything, it just works perfectly. As for my experience with this mouse in game, it felt really locked in, especially since I was using a aggressive claw grip. Even with that, the mouse wasn't really slipping out of my hands or anything. Didn't really have to adjust to the mouse to like bring it back into my actual grip. These side buttons, like I said, are soft and mushy, so if you are a Fortnite player, these aren't going to be the most tactile buttons, but they are decent enough if you're just going to use them for like push to talk like I do. The sensor is really well implemented. Didn't really notice any disadvantage or anything that really hinders my experience with it. No real pixel skipping or just like anything out of the ordinary. The main clicks are good enough for me. They're tactile enough. They feel pretty good. Can't really complain about those. The mouse wheel on this mouse is also pretty good. I do play a lot of Apex Legends, where the scroll wheel is a pretty important part of the game these days, and I haven't really noticed any disadvantage or anything that hinders my experience either, even though the steps aren't that defined and it kind of feels a little bit soft and mushy when you're scrolling. It still felt good enough for me in game. With that all being said, I'm gonna give this mouse a solid 9 out of 10, and I'm knocking off a single point for a couple of reasons. First of all, the side buttons aren't as tactile as I'd like them to be, pretty mushy and soft like I said. And second of all, the Xlite V3 is right around the corner, so that's going to be a revised version of this mouse. So if you're just looking out to buying this mouse today, I would probably wait a couple months until the Xlite V3 comes out. But if you can find this mouse for below retail and just need a small ergo mouse on your desk like right now, then this will be the mouse for you. especially if you don't want to go into the heavier mice like the EC3 wireless or even the Steel Series Prime Mini. Anyways, that's all from me. If you guys did enjoy this video, a like and sub would be much appreciated. Next week, we are going to be checking out the new sleeves from Pulsar and also the new and updated Super Glide mouse feet. First impressions on the feet, they've done a really good job with these. They do have a newer matte coating to them, so hopefully this does reduce the actual possibility of them slowing down. But so far in the week or so that I've been using them, they have felt really great. And we are also going to be checking out the new Pulsar micro bungee, but that's all going to be next week. So for now, see you all later.